Hi guys, good evening. It's time for my dementia video and I'm going to talk about the brain with my terribly drawn picture of the brain. So it's been a busy few days. I had 2 meetings yesterday and this evening I had a meeting with a lady I met when I went to volunteer at the homeless shelter. She's doing a project, a psychotherapy project, which is really cool. So I went to find out a bit about that. And then I went on to play football after that. Scored 4 goals, which is good stuff. And I haven't finished yet. Time for the dementia video. I'll squeeze that in now. So, a few people I saw in the real world told me they'd been watching my videos, but I wasn't aware of that because they hadn't hit the like button. So if you're watching, hit like or hit the love button so I know you've watched it. If you fancy, leave me a comment, do that. If you think it's really good, then difficult, that will be affected. Judgment may become affected. Losing impulse control may be affected. Now let's look at the upper back part of the brain here. This is called the parietal lobe. Now the parietal lobe, the upper back part of the brain, controls touch, temperature regulation, it controls pain, and it controls spatial awareness. So were dementia to affect this upper back part of the brain, then spatial awareness may become a problem or a difficulty, which then could result in the person living with dementia having falls or trips because they're not so aware of the space around them. Temperature regulation may become difficult, so they may feel too hot or too cold. Now let's look at the lower back part of the brain here. So this is called the occipital lobe. Now the occipital lobe part of the brain, it controls a person's vision. So were dementia to affect this part of the brain, then vision will become affected. Right, now we're going to move on to the middle part of the brain. Now this is called the temporal lobe. Now the temporal lobe contains 2 parts of the brain that I've talked to you lots about in the past. So I should test you on that really. It contains the hippocampus. So the hippocampus is here. And the hippocampus controls the factual memories. Now that part of the brain is quite susceptible to dementia. But very, very close to the hippocampus, just over here, is the amygdala. The amygdala controls the emotional memories, and that part of the brain, the amygdala, is much more resistant to dementia. So emotional memories will be held for longer for a person living with dementia. So that's the brain and some of the different functions that different parts of the brain control. So those will be affected if dementia affects different parts of the brain. So we've got the front upper part of the brain. The frontal lobe controls movement, concentration, memory, judgment, impulse control, consciousness, and problem solving. The parietal lobe, the upper back part of the brain, it controls touch, temperature, pain, and spatial awareness. If you like the video, press like, give me some love, leave me a comment or any questions you have. as well. The back part of the brain, the lower back part of the brain, is called the occipital lobe, and that controls vision. So were dementia to affect that part of the brain, then vision could become difficult for the person living with dementia. And then the middle part of the brain is called the temporal lobe. And in the temporal lobe, we have the hippocampus here, which controls the factual memories, and the amygdala here, which controls the emotional memories. Remember, emotional memories are much more secure to dementia, and the factual memories are much more resistant to dementia. It's a weaker part of the brain. So there you go. There's my terrible picture of the brain and the different functions of the different parts of the brain which could be affected by dementia. So it's not just memory which is affected by dementia. Right, brilliant. If you liked the video, press like or love, or do leave me a comment below with any questions or any comments you may have on the video. I'd appreciate that. And I will see you tomorrow for Thursday's video. Thursday's topic is, I always forget what it is. So I'll go and have a look in a minute, and I shall see you. So tune in for that, and I shall see you tomorrow.